Why can't VirtualBox or VMware run with Hyper-V enabled on Windows 10? I am running Windows 10 Pro 64-bit with Hyper-V and Intel VTX virtualization technology enabled. When I try to run VirtualBox 64-bit, Windows goes into a BSOD. When I run VMware it shows an error. Why can't VirtualBox and VMware run with Hyper-V enabled? Please explain with all details you have, including hardware and software. I want to know the internal cause of this error. Here are some findings of mine. Most sites suggest adding a boot entry with pictedit or to disable Hyper-V with pictedit. For example, creating a no hypervisor boot entry, run Hyper-V and VirtualBox on the same machine. But I can run QEMU with Hyper-V. QEMU does not show any error with Hyper-V and runs smoothly.
VirtualBox and VMware Workstation and VMware Player are Level 2 hypervisors. Hyper-V and VMware SC are Level 1 hypervisors. The main difference is that a Level 2 hypervisor is an application running inside an existing OS, while a Level 1 hypervisor is the OS itself. This means that when you enable Hyper-V, your Windows 10 host becomes a virtual machine. A special one, but nonetheless a virtual machine. So your question would more aptly be, why don't VirtualBox and VMware Workstation work inside a Hyper-V virtual machine? One can answer because as a VM, the Intel VTX instructions are no longer accessible from your virtual machine, only the host has access to it. QEMU works because it does not do virtualization but emulation, which is completely different and explains why QEMU is painfully slow. Virtualization is the process of running a complete isolated machine inside another, but with the help of the processor. This requires the virtual machine and the host to be instruction compatible. Emulation is the process of running any machine inside a running OS. There is no platform restriction, and is why QEMU can run an ARM machine on an ARM64 platform. Note, QEMU has two operating modes. It can work as an emulator. This is the mode explained above. It can work as virtualization software with the help of KVM if the guest architecture is compatible with the hosts and if the VT instruction is present, of course.
Starting from Windows Redstone 4 build, QEMU will be able to run under Hyper-V by employing the Windows Hypervisor Platform API. The Windows Hypervisor Platform Accelerator, WHPX, is being integrated to QEMU patches are submitted for merging. The Windows Hypervisor Platform API will be included in Redstone 4 build. Experimental support for WHPX is included in QEMU 2.12. Update, VirtualBox 6.0 added support for WHPX VirtualBox 6.0 changelog. Update 2, VMware will add support for WHPX in upcoming version of VMware Workstation and Fusion. VMware Workstation and Hyper-V, working together. Update 3. Initial VMware Workstation release with WHPX support. Software requirements are Windows Insider's minimum build number 19041. Hardware requirements are Intel Haswell or newer CPU, AMD Bulldozer or newer CPU. VMware Workstation Tech Preview 20H1, Hyper-V/host VBS support.
Here's what worked for me. You need to check to make sure that Hyper-V is not running. The telltale test is running system info from the command prompt, and if you see a hypervisor has been detected, features required for Hyper-V will not be displayed, then it's still not disabled. Steps to disable. Get into your machine's BIOS, typically UEFI today, and disable TPM. Otherwise none of the steps below will work. Boot computer using F2 into the BIOS setup mode. Alternate keys include Enter or Delete. Alternately use the Windows method to get there using the Settings app. Reference this URL. Once inside the UEFI BIOS, locate the security option and expand. Locate the TPM option nested under the security setting. To clear the TPM, you must check the box saying, clear to clear the TPM, or disable depending on your hardware manufacturer. Save these settings in the UEFI interface. The BIOS will likely ask you to reboot. Follow these steps. Boot normally, you probably won't see any difference. Check System Info. It should still complain about Hyper-V. Open PowerShell in Administrator mode. Enter Disable Windows Optional Feature Online Feature Name Microsoft Hyper-V Hypervisor All. Wait until it completes. This will tell you the action is complete, not that the action was successful. In PowerShell also enter dism/online/disable feature Microsoft Hyper-V. Wait until it completes. This will tell you the action is complete, not that the action was successful. Check System Info again. Hyper-V is probably still in the way. Keep going. Disable Windows Credential Guard. This appears to start Hyper-V regardless of settings. The steps to do this are in the link provided, but I'll pull the salient ones. This URL. Open the App Local Group Policy Editor from Microsoft. It's already part of the OS. From the Group Policy Management console, go to Computer Configuration, Administrative Templates, System, Device Guard. Change Turn on Virtualization-based security and set this to Disabled. Now, restart by going through the typical Windows shutdown process. Once logged in again, run System Info. It should show you. Something like this now. Hyper-V requirements, VM monitor mode extensions, yes virtualization enabled in firmware, yes second level address translation, yes data execution prevention available, yes. This means that the VTX CPU extensions are not stolen by Hyper-V, and Type 2 virtualization engines like VirtualBox can use VTX directly to dramatically speed things up. I anticipate that other VM technologies will benefit from this as well. Hyper-V stealing the VTX interface from other VM technologies almost guarantees that Windows platforms will not be used as a host OS as time progresses. This is incredibly difficult for the average user to disable and unfortunately really discourages anyone using VM technology on Windows because any virtualization runs quite slowly. Good luck! Add instructions if you find this needs some more detail.
VMware 15.5 Plus will work even if Hyper-V is enabled. With the release of VMware Workstation/Player 15.5.5, we are very excited and proud to announce support for Windows hosts with Hyper-V mode enabled. As you may know, this is a joint project from both Microsoft and VMware.